Mishmash! Kitbash Corner!
Hey, today we've got a bit of a weird episode in the chronicle of building my first Space Marine army in several years. Lately, within the last month, I've been building a Sons of Medusa army for 7th edition 40k, and also begrudgingly 10th edition. I've built quite a few units so far, this being Devastators, a Dreadnought, and even recently Centurions, but today I'm building and painting the first vehicle in several years. I haven't painted a vehicle in years. And today I'm going to be painting the out-of-print Space Marine Speeder. This is actually a vehicle I never owned, and I'm really excited to finally paint one, but the one I ended up getting was not new in the box. I got one off eBay, and it is a total homunculi of different pieces. We're talking metal, we're talking old plastic, and we're talking even a little bit of resin. But before we get into building and painting this classic piece of Space Marine history, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, share with a friend, hype the video if you're on mobile, and if you really dig it, consider becoming a channel member. For just $3 a month, you get to see my videos early, and for $5, you get access to a weekly Q&A stream in which I'll showcase your models. You also get exclusive roles and channels within the Mishmash Discord, and above everything else, you're just helping a guy do his dream job. Huge thank you to the channel members, you guys are amazing. But if you want to help the channel even further and help yourself to amazing hobby products, make sure to hit up the affiliate links in my description for Wargames Atlantic, Galeri, and Golden Maple. And don't forget to utilize those discount codes to save yourself a little money and some awesome products. But enough of the promotional stuff, let's talk about this silly little vehicle. Now, this is not necessarily a kitbashing video, but it kind of is. Definitely falls under the umbrella of conversion. But this landspeeder was something I got off of eBay for around 30 bucks. In this series, I more or less wanted to go for things that were new in the box, but for whatever reason, this kit is actually really hard to find brand new without a very costly price tag. But getting this for a better price and actually getting the original metal bits for the Typhoon build of the landspeeder was worth it in the end. However, the original Space Marines that came with the build are absolutely foobar, so I decided to build some new ones from scratch using more modern bits. For this, I'm using yet another couple of bits from the Rapier Squad from the Horus Heresy. The arms actually come from regular Mark III Marines, but in the spirit of keeping things more or less uniform with the rest of my army, I'm also using more bits from the Mark IV set. Even though the gunner has his original torso intact, I figured I'd just add this in to, yet again, add a little bit more flair for what I'm going for the rest of my army. I don't really care for Primaris helmets, but I really like Mark IV. Funny. But in essence, for the driver at least, I'm essentially just building half a Marine. It would have been kinda nice to have the original plastic, just because I like how it feels. But I don't know if I'd actually use it. The only reason I decided to use the original torso is because it was firmly glued in place. But as a little bonus detail that doesn't really necessarily matter now that I think about it, I decided to use one of the keypads from, yet again, the Rapier Squad. I think this might hold the record for how much mileage I've ever gotten out of a kit ever. It just has everything I need for this army. Admittedly, it's not necessarily the most, I guess, useful bit that I added to this kit bash because I didn't really paint it all too detailed, but it gave his new hands something to do. I didn't want him to just have very awkward hands sitting in his lap. But as you can imagine, as I'm gluing this in place and taking 9 million years to set it, building these guys in the cockpit was pretty awful. It was not fun. It wasn't terrible. It's not like it was building resin where everything's snapping because I glued it improperly. It's just that fitting this in and not doing separate builds was not really much of an option. Well, I guess it was, but it wasn't necessarily something I wanted to do. But I kind of paid the price for it because at first it looks just fine and dandy. Placing an entire Marine in the cockpit looks great. But these guys are practically shoulder to shoulder and, oh, okay. Yeah, admittedly this was not the most fun process, but I just had to give it a little extra time to adhere. I think a big part too is I decided to put this guy in while the arms were still drying. That was much more user error than anything else. But then again, I like complaining and maybe you'll say something funny in the comments. I don't know. Either way, it was kind of fun to be able to have such a amalgamation of bits with this older kit. The old yellowed plastic contrasting with the beautiful brand new slate gray plastic that we're used to is kind of weird to look at, but it's just a testament to see how things progress over time with the hobby. However, that could also just mean that this is a particularly old landspeeder. This thing was kind of active for a long time, so there's bound to be several different variations with newer plastic. However, you'll see as I'm rambling through this that several times their arms would break off, but eventually I would finally get them to stick. There was a good amount of trial and error, but at the end of the day, it really wasn't as horrific as I described it earlier. But it probably wouldn't have hurt to do a sub-assembly. And having better access to the legs would have allowed me to add decals, but then again, I only have so many, and I don't think many people are going to be looking at the legs, so I don't know, I'm fussing. But now it's time to add in some more metal bits, and this being the old Typhoon tracker. I couldn't believe how snugly this fit in the old kit. Already the metal bit was glued in place, so I just had to simply add in the scope. But honestly, if I used a regular Space Marine helmet, I almost guarantee I would have scraped the paint if I wasn't careful. But I also did mention earlier that this piece actually has a little bit of resin. Yeah, the Stormbolter is in appearance a plastic bit, but its consistency is definitely resin. If I had to guess, it might be a recast, either that or a forward-rolled piece. I couldn't quite identify it, but it definitely feels like resin. Also, part of me really did want to attach a melt-a-gun, but I didn't really feel like kitbashing one, and I didn't actually get one that came with the set. For whatever reason, the seller also included like 8 other heavy bolters and half a metal scout, but no multi-melta. But at the same time, I don't think you can even run a multi-melta with the Typhoon variant. Maybe you can. Maybe you'll pretend this is a melta, who knows. Well, with the gun in place, everything is practically built on this so far besides the helmets, and as you know, we'll save that for the end. For now, I decided to utilize my Dremel to create a lot of battle damage on the actual speeder. Also, if you haven't noticed, the little pike has broken off and didn't come with the actual speeder, so I decided to Dremel this piece out to kind of make it look like a gun. However, I also thought it would be a good idea to do so in case I actually ever come across one. That way I can just simply insert it into the slot and it'll be good to go. Might lose a little height, but I'm fine with that. I figured I'd go heavy with the bullet holes too on this build. I didn't think I would really need to add a bunch of battle damage, but I will say since this isn't an active combat zone and flying around, there's plenty of stray bullets that are going to hit this thing. So I just kind of had fun with it. It's easy to get carried away with the Dremel, and sometimes I've actually damaged the barrels of some weapons because I wasn't careful enough, but I'm having a responsible amount of fun with it. Also, I decided I'm one of those weirdos that likes to paint the entirety of the base with a flying vehicle, and I'll be basing this and painting the midsection black later on. Also now realizing I totally lied and I forgot that I actually did have one last piece to add to this vehicle. This being the holster bolt gun that came with the attack bike. Initially I was going to use one of the Rapier Squad bolt guns, but I didn't really care for how that looked on my attack bike, so I thought this would be a better use. The positioning is just a tad awkward, but I don't entirely mind. I'd rather it be there than not at all. But once that little bit was in place, I decided it was time for the painting. I'm going to be painting this similarly to how I painted the rest of my army. First, by priming the entirety of the vehicle using some German Panzer Gray. It's kind of weird painting a vehicle like this, since I actually ended up using the base as a painting handle for the most part, and it actually worked quite well, but I just feel awkward painting vehicles again. Sure, I've painted plenty of Quar tractors, but I haven't painted a Space Marine vehicle in almost 8 years. Feels weird to come back to doing something that you've been gone from for so long, and honestly, this is the first hobby I've really felt that with. And utilizing a lot of the things I've learned over the years, the sponging, and not really going as detailed as I could with the more broader elements, it actually was kind of a breeze of a paint job. I'm kind of skipping a lot of it since I've basically shown off this scheme several times in the series, but this time around I decided to utilize my airbrush with the wash process. See, before I used to just simply use my regular brushes, and I'll probably continue doing that with the base infantry. But as for vehicles, well, I don't really feel like using a gargantuan brush. and this worked out rather nicely. Last time I actually used this method was when I started painting Horus Heresy models well before the channel started. I used to not be the biggest fan of it, but for efficiency's sake, this has been a lifesaver. I've been so efficient with making models recently that it feels weird. And yes, right now, it absolutely looks like I took my beautiful emerald speeder and coated it in doo-doo feces, but we're gonna coat it in even more doo-doo feces. First, though, I decided to wash out my cheap airbrush since I'm not gonna use my nice one for this. But since I'm already working on the model and the way that I'm doing it, I figured I'd add in the basing texture. Yeah, kind of stupid logic, huh? I don't know what I was thinking. Why would I add wet texture paste to a base while the model is still drying with enamel wash? I was trying to be efficient, but this is really stupid. This is like comically stupid. Sure, by the end of this video, the model looks pretty sweet in my opinion, but this is a really dumb decision. I would say I don't know what I was thinking, but I think that's just the problem. I wasn't thinking. But once the enamel wash was nice and dry, I would add in a little white spirit and wick away the excess. Not often you see me wear a glove on my glove, but I figured it would be kind of a good idea to do so. That way I don't have to risk as much of the texture paste getting on the green. I'm actually genuinely shocked I didn't get any of the actual texture paste on the green. There's a little splatter here and there, but otherwise it turned out pretty immaculate. I wasn't quite sure how beat around I really wanted to make this speeder look. Even though I did want to add on all the bullet holes, I wasn't sure how much I wanted the green tainted by the overall wash. The biggest thing I tried to do with keeping this balanced was overall a balance with the rest of the army. I think applying it with an airbrush allowed me to get a much neater overall coat, but as a result, it ended up glooping a little bit more than I intended, so it took a lot more time and effort to actually wipe away the excess. At the end, it was in a place that I was quite happy with. But the biggest thing I wanted to really balance was making the green look the same as the rest of the army. I think the vehicles definitely look different from the base infantry thus far, which I'm okay with, but I don't want the tactical marines to look too different from everything else. And that might very well just be something that I myself would be bothered with, but I don't want to be bothered with anything in this army. It's my first army in forever, and I plan to make it a big one. Also, update from the last video that I should probably mention because so many people have messaged me on it. I actually have all the paint I need for Vallejo light green. I'm good. Thank you, though. Big public PSA, I have all the light green I could ever want. But once I was happy with the wash, I would fill in the other details, and I would paint the missile specifically with a very, very nice contrasting orange. This being Magmadroth Flame from Citadel. Initially I was going to do yellow, but I feared it would look a little too Mantis Warriors-esque. Another army that I wouldn't mind doing. But I think the orange works better contrast-wise too, and it just makes the army look all the more unique. I really need to use this color more. But once the missiles were fully painted, I would then attach the noggins to the Marines, and I would call this puppy done. Although I did need to do the rest of the basing, and I used plenty of weathering powder to really drive this thing home. Also again, just showing off just how close and nearly scrapey the actual metal piece is. Did not really want to mess this up. Though I do kind of feel like a goofball for painting in detailed pupils on this noggin. But with those final details, I was left with a hell of a speeder. I'm really happy with how this turned out. And though I really would have preferred to get a brand new one, I really have a deep love for this model. There's a lot of character to it, and it's kind of fun to have a challenge of trying to build around something that was already pre-built. I wouldn't be opposed to doing this again, and I wouldn't mind having another speeder to twin up with it. I feel like just having one is a little strange. But at the end of the day, I have a million other vehicles I need to get to. And I'm not really sure if it's the best idea to really add on to the pile that I already have. I really need to start painting some more infantry. But I can give you a nice sneak preview for the next video. I'm gonna be adding in a plenty of some very interesting units. And yes, I'm working on a customized command squad. But I understand if this series is getting a little fatiguing. I've done 4 videos in a row on it, so I'll try to spread things out a little bit more. This was a bit of an emergency video. I wanted to get something out. And yeah, Core's coming back next week. Hope you're ready for it. But I've definitely been flapping my beak enough for one video. So like always, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, share with a friend, and remember to mishmash, kitbash, and paint some fantastic miniatures. And you're gonna. I promise. See ya.